Hi, my name is Paige. I am 33 years old and I race as an age group triathlete for Octagon Elite. Today I'm going to be talking about my return to fitness and training for my first half Ironman postpartum, which is Ironman Des Moines 70.3. I will be exactly 6 months postpartum. I have 4 kids. They are ages 6, 3, 2, and 3.5 months old. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is how I return to fitness after I have a baby. So I come back and I sit in my bed for a few days like we're supposed to after we have babies. I definitely do not do the full 5 days in the bed, 5 days on the bed, 5 days around the bed. That would be very hard for me. I really crave movement and I am a doer and I'm not a sitter. So I think my first bike ride postpartum after Declan was born was at 2 weeks. I did an easy 30-minute ride outside on my mountain bike. It was just before Christmas and I live in Minnesota, so normally we have a lot of snow. This year, however, we got really lucky, I would say, in that we had no snow really at all over the winter, so I was able to get on my bike, which felt like a dream. I did my first run postpartum at 3 weeks. I ran 3 miles and I built from there. I did a 4-mile run at 4 weeks postpartum, 5 miles at 5 weeks, etc. I made it through 7 weeks postpartum for 7 miles, but then I got derailed from continuing that build because I got sick. I got hit with 2 different respiratory viruses within the same week. It was not fun. Lots of my family was sick. Thankfully, the baby did not catch any of it. He was perfect. But I got derailed mid-February from building my run. And so then I just started kind of running whatever I wanted to do that week. Roll around into March, and now I'm 3 months postpartum and kind of really building my base more. So I'm doing more bikes, and I'm doing more runs every week. I'm not swimming yet. I don't like swimming, so that will be the very last thing I add to get ready for Des Moines. I will just swim enough to know that I can get through the 1.2 miles sort of successfully, and then onto the more fun parts of triathlon like the bike and especially the run. Last week for my workouts, I spent a total of 7 hours doing biking and running, and I did 45 minutes of lifting. I am definitely taking the less is more approach. I'm not gonna drop weeks of training that are over 11 hours. If I even really hit 10 hours, I would be surprised. I just don't have the time, so I will focus on quality over quantity. Last week, I worked out for 6 days. I took 1 day completely off. I did 4 bike rides. 3 of them were 1-hour rides. I did 1 day of over-unders. I did 1 day of sweet spot, and I did 1 day endurance with a couple of late ride sprints just to kind of shake my legs out. And then on the weekend, I did a 90-minute long ride with tempo intervals. I have built my long ride up to 1 hour and 50 minutes on the trainer so far. So I will probably push up to 2.5 hours on the trainer leading into this race, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'll ride outside. Maybe I will. I should ride outside. I need to practice riding my new bike outside. Last week for runs, I did 3 runs. I did a 20-minute brick off the bike on the treadmill at 7:30 pace. This was after my over/under 1-hour bike ride. And then I did 6 miles outside at 7:30s with my dog on Thursday, and I did a long run on Saturday, just over 11 miles, 7:50 average pace. I sat at about 8-minute pace for 7 miles, and then I cut down to 7:40s and 7:30s for the last, how many miles is that? 4 miles until I got home. I said I had 1 day completely off of endurance. I'm also doing the daily 50 right now, so I did do that every single day last week. That is 50 push-ups, 50 squats, 50 lunges, 50-second wall sit, and I'm missing a 50-second plank. That has been really beneficial to me. Honestly, I think coming back or during my pregnancy and even postpartum, I didn't do any strength. I'm just not really a strength gal. I'd rather go for a run. Any day, I'd rather go for a run. So doing that definitely helped build just some basic muscle mass back. I can feel it in my quads and hamstrings, and even like my abs and arms from doing the push-ups. So my husband's already trying to figure out what we're going to do for April once this daily 50 challenge ends at the end of March. I think he said we should do the daily 60. I don't know. I'm sure he'll come up with something. But I have really enjoyed it. If you're looking for something to do, I would recommend it. It takes no more than 7 minutes to do every single day. Next. How do I balance newborn or broken sleep with training? I really just listen to my body. In those first early weeks, month and a half of having a newborn, you are being stretched mentally and physically a lot. A baby, if you've not had a baby, a newborn baby requires to be fed every 2 or 3 hours during this time frame, and every time you feed them, they also poop. So you're changing diapers all night long, and it is exhausting. Honestly, I should be pulling my husband because he was in peak ski training in January and February when our baby was at this worst phase of sleep, and our baby sleeps in our room. So I don't know how he got through it, because he was getting up at 5:15 every morning to go ski. Most mornings, maybe 5 mornings a week. Bless him. He can do things with less sleep. Obviously, he wasn't feeding the baby in the middle of the night, but you still hear the baby wake up. So now that Declan's my baby, now that he is about 3.5 months old, he's sleeping pretty well. Last night I went to sleep at 10:30, and then I woke up at 7 a.m. And within that time frame, Dec woke up twice. I nursed him probably 10 minutes each time, and he goes right back to sleep. I go right back to sleep. I got over 8 hours of sleep last night within that time frame. So I'm feeling pretty energized now that I've made it through those first couple months. He was a pretty bad sleeper in January. He has some tummy troubles. We're working through that. He's got some eczema. I've kind of overhauled my diet just to eliminate some potential eczema triggers. So there has been just a little bit of uncertainty with how he was sleeping and what my diet looks like, but we're working through it, and he is pretty good now. I do know the 4-month sleep regression is coming. He's my 4th baby. We aren't going to get out of that. We will have to go through that. So I'm sure I'll be a little more tired in the coming weeks with training, but it'll be okay. I know now that I've had 4 kids that everything is just a season, especially that newborn sleep when you feel like the world is ending. And even with my 4th baby, I certainly felt like the world was ending at certain times with how tired I would be. I know that it's just a phase, and we will get through it, and better things are coming. And soon those newborn baby smiles show up, and everyone is happy, and he loves you, and it's always just a phase. My 3rd kid, William, he is now 2. He was a terrible sleeper as a baby. He woke up without fail every 2 or 3 hours through 5 months old, I think. It was rough. At that point in 2022, I kind of expected to be a retired triathlete, because I could not imagine working out super hard with how poorly he was sleeping. So with him, I did my first brick workout in July, and I remembered how much I love triathlon, so I signed up for a sprint tri. He was 5 months old. The week of the race, I changed from the sprint distance to the Olympic distance. I did my Olympic distance. I finished 3rd overall, I think. It's a local race. I still wanted more, and I signed up for Ironman Wisconsin 73. I did that race when William was 7 months old. I was the first overall finisher, female finisher. I don't know how I did that. I trained for 6 weeks. I coached myself. I used a trainer road plan, and it was focused training. Somehow I ended up at the top. I think I was lucky. I don't know. I know though also that being a mom gives you these superhero powers, so it could have been some of that. How do I find the motivation to train postpartum? I love coming back into a training plan or having a goal race or fitness postpartum, because when you have that baby, your body is not your body right afterward. You have gained all 30 pounds. I've gained 30 pounds with my pregnancies. I gained 30 pounds through over 10 months of pregnancy. I gave birth to this baby. I'm recovering. I'm still heavier than I was before I got pregnant. And now I get to work against all the odds to get back into fitness. So I've got weight to lose. I've got muscle mass I need to build. And I love it. I start doing my workouts at whatever easy pace I need, and eventually the paces start getting faster. And with that, I get more motivated. Now I'm also seeing some muscle return onto my body, more motivation. And finally, also see the weight start dropping off of me. So more motivation. So I can see the scale getting lower, see the muscle mass coming back, and it starts compounding. And then I pick a goal race and I can dive into that and start visualizing that race and how I'm going to do on the course and what it's going to feel like and when that pain is going to come in that that dark space. How am I going to get through that mentally? So I use all of those little pieces to motivate me to keep with my training. Also, I love to work out. I need to sweat for just mental benefits. I'm a mom of 4. I need that space and that time for me. And I really use it to my advantage. Sometimes I will just take a peace break from my family if I'm cooking dinner or something and I haven't gotten a workout in. I have been known to hand it all off to my husband and say, see you later, I need 30 minutes on my treadmill right now. And I will use that. Okay, it has been great talking with you. I might hear my baby waking up, so it's my time to be done.